Welcome back to the Cumbie Show. We tell like it is and we don't care how you feel. And this is it. The final two for everything. The national championship between Washington and Michigan. One of these teams are going to walk away as your 2023 national champs. The other one, first place losers. So I think it's going to be a great game. I thought the first two games were really fun. I thought the Texas-Washington game was very exciting, especially those last 5 minutes. Washington tried everything they could to lose that game. It's almost like they're like, here, Texas, we want you to win the game. But they pulled out on the last play. Same between the Alabama-Michigan. A little bit slower paced, a little bit harder to watch from the outside. Maybe more boring, I guess. But I thought it was a great game. More of a run and gun or run the ball kind of game. That one coming down to overtime, last play in overtime. Both are really good games. But here we sit with a Washington-Michigan national championship. It's kind of funny because in my preview prediction, I got this completely wrong. I picked Alabama and Texas rematch. I did say, who knows, we could be looking at a Washington and Michigan, but I think that's funny that I got it completely wrong. So let's see if I have better luck this time. But as we sit right now, Michigan is a 4.5-point favorite over Washington, and these two teams couldn't be more opposite. Washington is a spread you out, gunsling it, air it out kind of team. They are going to pass. Michael Penix Jr. puts up video game numbers like it's nothing. The game against Texas, he had, almost 4,000? Some ridiculous passing yards, not 4,000. Some ridiculous passing yards on the game. And then Michigan is more of a ground and pound, run the ball, kind of make you work for every inch that you can get, run out the clock kind of team. So I think this is a very interesting game just to see the way that these two completely different offenses, who's going to come out on top? Which defense is going to be able to get the correct amount of stops? And I think that's what this game is going to boil down to. I have went back and forth on this game who I thought would win. Part of me wants to take Michigan, and then part of me wants to take Washington. I think this is a very difficult game to pick because you've got one strength going against a strength, in my opinion. Washington's strength is their offense. Michigan's strength is their defense. Michigan doesn't have the best offense. J.J. McCarthy is good. He's a good quarterback. J.J. McCarthy isn't going to lose you a game. Let's say it that way. He's not going to win you a game, but he's also not going to lose you a game. He's not going to put you in situations where he's going to cause you to win. But I feel like if you ask J.J. McCarthy to put together a couple of drives to come back from a deficit, I don't know if he's got that in him. He very may well, and he may prove us wrong, but I haven't seen that from him yet. I've seen him stay poised. He did get down in the Michigan-Alabama game, but we're not talking about multiple scores. We're talking about one score, just driving down the field, scoring a touchdown type of game. So I think this is going to be a very interesting game. And like I said, I've kind of went back and forth on who I think would win. And I think it's going to come down to, would you choose a dynamic offense or a dynamic defense? And I think in this case, I would usually always go for defense wins championships. I stand by that. But I think in this case, I'm going to have to go against my gut. And I'm going to have to go with Washington. I think Washington gets the upset. And I think their offense and Michael Penix Jr. comes out gunslinging it. And they put up just enough points on this Michigan defense to where J.J. McCarthy cannot keep up. I think that's how it plays out. The keys to the game for each team, I think it starts on Michigan's defense. Can they slow down Michael Penix Jr.? If they can slow down Michael Penix Jr., they will win this game. They have got to. That's it. Plain and simple. They've got to. If they do that, then they have a very solid chance at winning this game. If they slow him up in any way, I think you see Michigan winning. If they don't, and Michael Penix Jr. is able to do what he's been doing all season long, especially what he did against Texas, if he puts up video game numbers, I think Washington wins. I think the key to this game for victory for Washington is, can that offensive line hold off that Michigan front seven and give Penix Jr. some time to pass the ball and allow him to do what he does? And can they stop Michigan's run game? Because Michigan is going to want to shorten this game. They're going to want to run the ball, run the clock out, shorten the game, but slow it down, make you say, hey, we're running this ball, you're not going to be able to stop us, and we're going to hold this ball for 7-8 minutes per drive. So I think that's Michigan's game plan coming into this. I liked Michigan's defensive scheme against Alabama, how they got after Jalen Milroe. All game long, they had 6 or 7 sacks. They really forced Jalen Milroe he was under pressure all game long. They forced him to hurry. All game long, Jalen Milroe was constantly having to think on his feet and go. It almost seemed like there was very few times where Jalen Milroe was just like, had a second to just look at each read and pass. That's what Michigan's going to have to do to Michael Penix Jr. They're going to have to get after him all night long. If they can, I think they have a good shot. But from what I've seen, and maybe I'm going against my gut here, I think this Washington offense and that O-line is able to give just enough time for Michael Penix Jr. to do what he does best. I think he's going to put up video game numbers, and I don't think this is going to be a blowout in any means. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm thinking around like maybe 34-28 or 30-28 type game. But yeah, I have Washington winning. I'm excited to watch this game. I think that this game is good for college football. You can say what you want about Michigan and the scandal of them cheating, but even with my dogs not in it, I think that this is a good game for the sport of college football. You have two teams that haven't been there in a long-ass time. This is the first year since, 2014 that we haven't seen an SEC team in the playoffs. It's almost like a fresh of breath air, if you ask me. Even though I'm a Georgia fan and they're in the SEC, I'm not an SEC biased homeboy. I could care less what the other SEC teams do. I hope they all lose. I've never understood this. Your team's in the SEC, you got to have this conference allegiance. No, my allegiance is towards the team that I like. Now, I might cheer for some SEC teams depending on who they're playing against. Like if LSU goes out and they play Ohio State, I'm taking LSU all day. Fuck Ohio State. But I've never once been an SEC homer. I've been a Georgia homer, and I do think that the SEC is the best conference, but I never root for them just because they're SEC. So, in my opinion, if it's not Georgia, I'm glad it's not another SEC team. And I think I almost want Washington to win because we don't see this a lot in college football. You don't. The way that things have been for the past 15, 20 years, you don't see teams like this come in and win it. So it's a good breath of fresh air, in my opinion. But that's the game. Like I said, I'm taking Washington to win. I think that offense, especially in a game like this, I know they've had some close calls, and that's what worries me taking them. They've been playing with fire for way too long, and they haven't got burnt yet. So, and this is probably one of the better defenses that they're going up against, and everything that I'm saying is making me doubt me picking Washington, but I'm just going to take Washington. I think they get it done on offense. I think they're able to put up just enough points where J.J. McCarthy, Michigan, cannot keep up, and I may be wrong. But I think this is going to be a fun game. I'm excited to see how these two offenses square off against each other because they are so different. I'm excited to see what this Washington's offense can do against this Michigan defense. And I just can't wait. I think it's going to be fun. Nonetheless, that's it. Can't wait. This game's coming on Monday night. Wish it was Saturday, but nonetheless, I think it's going to be a good one, and I cannot wait to see who's going to be our 2023 national champions, rolling into a great year for 2024. Other than that, over and out.